So what's up, Chong?
Chilling. How you doing, bro?
Good, brother. Good. So talk to me about your music. What's up with that?
So I just dropped an EP. It's called the Water EP. If you followed my music before, it was like Waterboy was like my artist name. So kind of didn't want to do an homage to that. I was doing like meme rap, like silly stuff. But like now I'm kind of like doing indie. But I just don't really think about the genre of music I make anymore. I just like make things that I think sound good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it feels like you've been doing a lot of like country stuff. Like I see like a bit of country element you're referring to, like the whole like Bond Me cowboy thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll be wearing like a cowboy hat or like Western outfits while you're like singing some pretty like sad stuff. Like
Yeah.
what's up? What's up with that?
I don't know, bro. I just fuck with cowboys, low key. Like I just thought, like I went to Nashville, and I was like, yo, this looks kind of cool. Like I used to hate on country. Everyone hates on country music. Like, oh, I don't listen to country or like metal music. But yeah, my homie Mando, she put me on country music. Like it started with Morgan Wallen. I know that's kind of like basic as fuck,
Yeah.
but like it started off with like Morgan Wallen, but it went deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
So like I just love country music now. I love music, so I listen to anything. I
Yeah.
wanted to incorporate that.
100%.
Yeah.
What's your take on like what's going on in like the states right now and ICE and like the tariffs and everything? A lot of people are pretty upset about it up here.
I mean, like it's a shit show. Like so many things are happening, but it's just like we can go every angle, right? We could go like humanitarian wise, like like what the fuck is going on? Like, is this a humanitarian crisis? Is this evil or whatever? But like, let's forget all that. Like, it's just crazy. Like, what is the plan? I don't know what the plan is, Like some people think with the tariffs and whatever, he's just trying to piss off everybody so that the stocks go down and his buddies can like buy into the stocks. But then what? They get richer, but their whole country's fucked. So, I have a brother. He works in like the science field, and like that's just a whole different angle. Like the whole academic community kind of low key doesn't fuck with Donald Trump because he's cutting off all their money and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing though? Because like, what's the point of academia? Do you think that like school is just kind of a big scam or?
I mean, like, school's not perfect, but like, could you imagine this like a world with like no education? People be dumb as fuck saying crazy shit, and that honestly might work for Trump. That's why he's like leaning towards that. He wants idiots everywhere so that they would vote for him. I don't know. Is that inflammatory? I don't
No,
know.
I think. Well, if it is inflammatory, I think that's a good thing. That's kind of the point of this podcast. But like, I don't know. I feel like isn't that just what the world is now? Like, you know, it's funny. It doesn't matter how much education I take. Like, I've never felt dumber in my life than I do right now. Like, I feel fucking retarded.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's because, like, we're all, for all the education we have, we're also, like, exposed to so much stupid shit on the internet, And, like, we're all stuck on our phones, addicted to our phones. Like, I'm saying this, but, like, I'm doom scrolling, like, 4 hours a day, bro. Like, hitting high scores every day. I don't know. Like, I think that probably has a huge effect on your intelligence, I'm sure.
Yeah, just spending too much time on the internet,
Yeah.
chronically being online. Do you think is Ye like losing his mind right now or like super dialed in? Did you take like Ye, like Kanye West?
no.
Did you take in his new album, the video album, Bully?
Bully came out? Yeah, I don't know. Like, I used to be the biggest Kanye stan, but, like, I can't follow anymore. Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, everyone had, okay, some people still are with Ye since forever. Honestly, kudos to you. That's kind of crazy. But, like, yeah, everyone has a different cutoff date. Like, I'm trying to figure out what was your cutoff date? When did you, like, are you still fucking with Ye or, like, how?
I mean, this is my sort of take.
Yeah,
I find him pretty funny.
yeah.
And personally, I like when he kind of melts down.
Yeah.
Like some of my I don't get me wrong, I like old Kanye. Some of my favorite Kanye was the whole Yeezus era, and like
That's
when
my
he,
favorite too.
yeah,
Yeah,
like just
Yeezus
said
is
that.
crazy.
I like it when he's really egotistical.
Yeah.
I like it when he's just talking shit. He's mad at the media. I love like
Yeah.
that infamous clip where he's dissing like George Bush
Yeah,
and
yeah,
sets up
I
Mike
love that.
Myers. Like that was fucking awesome. So he's always kind of had these outbursts, and like
Yeah.
he seems kind of to me like just someone with like severely untreated bipolar and just
Yeah.
like bad people around him that don't care. But I don't know.
I agree with that, like for the most part, but I think there was kind of like a shift in the sense that Kanye's always been kind of crazy, but before that, like especially around the Yeezus time, for me personally, the craziness had a purpose. You know, he was going against the industry. He was going against people holding him back. As a black man, he wanted to pierce in the fashion industry, and he didn't feel like he could without making a lot of noise, and he did. You know, but then after that, I don't know where it went all wrong. Maybe. Like, you know, marrying the Kardashian sounds like a bad idea, but then divorcing from her like made it even worse. How does that, like, I don't even get how this all happened. What
To be
the fuck?
fair, though, I feel like that was like a pretty good move on her part just to
Yeah.
separate, because like it was just a PR disaster.
Yeah.
Now, on the one side, marrying into like one of arguably the most like shallow families ever, you know, that some people probably won't like. I don't give a fuck, get mad at me. But it's also kind of funny because life is basically just a South Park episode now. Like
Yeah.
like
It really is.
we've like art imitates life, life imitates art. We're all just kind of living in like a weird reality show anyway. So it was sort of genius to get like, and then that's why I feel like Trump is so effective, regardless of what anyone's like. I'm not a Trump fan. You know, like I find him amusing. Same thing. It's reality TV. That's like what he knows how to do.
Made it on his platform. Like Trump, like I mean, maybe not the only way. Obviously, Trump did a lot of stuff with the older people who don't even use social media. But for the kids who fuck with Trump, I feel so it's just because like you know the algorithm loves him. Like you know he's just like so. I don't know how to say it. He's like clickbait.
Yeah.
He's constantly saying crazy shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, like I had a question for you about Ye.
Okay.
Like, do you think like you know Ye says a bunch of crazy stuff?
Yeah.
Do you like a lot of people are always like, you know, that's racist, that's xenophobic, whatever,
Yeah.
phobic. Like, do you think there's any validity to whatever he's saying? Like, does he make any sense at all to you?
Sometimes less so now.
Okay.
I feel like he's kind of hit like a point where it just sort of like it's hard to tell what's even going on. Like if he even like believes the shit that he's saying, because like you know you're fucking up when you're on like Alex Jones' show and he's even being like, "Hey yo," that was last year when like Kanye was you know he was saying all the Nazi stuff and then like Alex was like, "Oh, actually I don't really know about that one," you know, and like you know this is a guy that you know he's got what's that case? He got sued for like $70 million or something insane. Alex Jones with the whole Sandy Hook stuff.
Yeah, I remember he got sued, but I don't know for how much.
So I don't know. It's an insane amount. I think it's higher than that. It's an insane amount of money. It's an amount he'll never be able to pay. It was just to like fuck him up. He'll be fine. He's got his fringe community and whatever, and he's never gonna
French community?
like fringe.
Oh, Fringe. Oh, yeah.
Not French community.
I was like,
no,
wait,
yeah.
French people fuck with Alex Jones? Like, that's crazy.
What's your take? Yeah, so like growing up, like speaking French, growing up in Montreal, like what's kind of your take on like the Quebecois culture and what it means? And like a lot of people, I think in Canada, aren't like huge fans of Quebec, and like how does that integrate with Montreal? Do you think Montreal is its own thing? Like, what's sort of your take on all that?
Yeah, I don't know where to start because there's a lot there, but like, I mean, in a weird way, I feel as though like Quebec is kind of like the U.S. You know, they just do their own thing, and some people think they're ridiculous, but they don't care, right? And I think that's what Quebec kind of is. Like, you know, it's its own province, but it acts like it's its own country. People don't care about the Canadian flag there. You know, they wave the little Quebec flag. But like when it comes to like language, like I grew up in Montreal, like you were talking about how it's kind of separate from the rest of Quebec. Like it's not that crazy there, but yeah, I don't know. It really depends who you ask and where you grew up and whatever. But like my upbringing in Quebec was like, you know, Quebec was relatively normal. And obviously I'm fond of Quebec because, you know, that's where I grew up. But then I learned more about like, you know, the more hardcore Quebec people and like, you know, when the François Legault, that's like our prime minister, not what governor? What's the leader? Like not mayor of a province. Well, damn, we're uneducated. That's crazy. But yeah, anyway.
Premier.
Yeah?
That's
Okay.
what it is, yeah.
Anyways.
Ford's our premier.
Okay,
You guys
gotcha.
have a premier too.
Yeah, it's François Legault. So like he's like hardcore Quebecois. He's kind of like Quebecois Donald Trump, low key, and like you know he just kind of brought up that like Quebecois pride sentiment in people, and it just brought out a whole community that I didn't even know about, like the type of people that would be like, oh yo, you're in Quebec, speak English, you know. I didn't even speak French. I didn't even know those people existed. I was kind of confused when that happened.
That's interesting. I find like when I personally like last time I was in Montreal, I went in August for it was Montreality Fest,
Yeah.
and I noticed too like I definitely get treated a little differently.
Yeah.
Depending on like some places, like some people are super chill, no one gives a fuck, whatever. And then like I'll go into like a gas station or something and I'll be like, "Hey man, how are you? How's your day?" And they'll just grill me. And I'm like, "Bro, like
Wait, were you like doing content?
no, like I'm just
Okay.
like being normal. Like I'm just like
Okay.
just actually checking in on someone and it
But
just
you
doesn't
should
work
do
out."
content. Like you should do content as an anglophone in like the most random Quebec places, you know, and just start talking to people in English, and they'll hate it.
I don't
They'll
think
make
they
great
would like
content.
it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a great time. So, what do you think about Canada? Are we cooks or what's up with that?
I don't. I don't know.
Is there
'Cause,
a
like,
future here?
I mean, the economy is kind of getting worse, right? Like the trend is looking not great, right? But that also is the rest of the world. Like America is kind of like slightly on a downward trend right now.
Sure.
So like it's hard to tell, man. Maybe we need another war to invade another country, get some money, you know?
That'd be nice. Where would you like to invade? If we can like pick a place to,
I'll let you go first. I'll pick a
Yeah.
country if you.
Okay. I think we should start a war with Antarctica.
Okay.
I guess it's not a country, it'd be a continent.
But what would you get out of it?
So here, this is where we're gonna get to the facts.
Okay.
So you know about how the flat earthers believe that there's in Antarctica they shield all the dragons and like
Yeah.
these magical creatures and stuff like that.
I
So
did not believe- I
so
did not know that
at the
was-
end of because like you know the Earth is flat, right? So at the
Yeah.
very end of the Earth it's
Yeah.
Antarctica, and then there's like a special portal that
Yeah.
apparently only the Jews can access. And that's where you have all the magical creatures and stuff like that. So I think if we invade Antarctica, we can finally have all these mythical beasts and they'll protect Canada
Nice.
because we don't have the military budget that the States does.
That's smart.
That's one of my first ideas.
I don't think I can beat that, to be honest.
Where would you invade, you think?
Man, damn, that's a crazy ass answer. Like if I answered a real answer now, I'm gonna get canceled. So like,
I say you should do a real one.
man, what country should we invade? I don't know, man. Like I hate to say this, man, but the Middle East, they have oil, bruh. They have oil, like, you know. That's kind of a crazy resource, you know, and they're just sitting on it. They're making like, you know, palaces and shit. Like, fuck that, man. Like, let's make tech companies.
Let's make tech companies. So the only issue I have with that, not morally, who cares about morals right now, but it's just like it just didn't really work out too well for the States when they hit the Middle East.
Yo, like, okay, we're gonna get into hot shit here, but like, isn't that what Israel is? It's the
Yeah.
U.S. in the Middle East.
Yeah.
They're still trying it, bro. They're just changed our perspective.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, by all means, cancel me. That's good for this program. I don't know. Isn't Israel just like a big U.S. money laundering scheme?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
They're doing that in the Middle East, right? Like they want access to all the good Middle East shit. It's a strategic vantage point, you know. I don't know how far it goes, you know. Like Loki, I'm Vietnamese, so I can say this, but like, you know, they went into Vietnam. They thought it was gonna be a strategic point to access Asia. Then they got Taiwan, and they were like, "Fuck it, fuck Vietnam. Let's leave this place," you know. So that's kind of what happened there. But in Israel, I feel like they see potential in it, so they're like putting all their money out there. Eventually, it might not just be Israel, you know, or Israel might grow, type shit, you know.
The problem, I can't see Israel actually getting bigger though because it is such a specific demographic and like realistically there's not like Israelis and like your typical Jew are like very different like that, like, you know, not like obviously not all Jews are Zionists. Apparently Judaism's actually the least practiced religion in the world. Like about, you know, most people are just pretty apathetic, don't even necessarily celebrate Hanukkah, Seder, Rosh Hashanah, whatever. It's a very like, even like culturally too, Jews are like some of the highest for antidepressants, stress, therapy, anxiety, all these kind of things. So it's like I can't really imagine Israel getting more powerful, but it is like a nice kind of thought. I don't know, definitely free Palestine. Yeah, you mentioned Taiwan too. What should we do about that? I know China wants to take over Taiwan, and Taiwan's got a lot of like, you know, the U.S. is really worried about that because
They do the microchips there.
they do the chips there.
Yeah.
Or should we join China?
I don't think that's happening, bro. I don't know. I can't, like, why not, right? Why can't we just, yo, fuck it, man, right? Let's just all join up, you know? Like, we're tired of the U.S., you know? Fuck the U.S. Yeah.
We started
Yo, but wait. While we're on the topic of China, like, there's 4, like, Chinese Canadian dual citizens that got executed for drug use.
Really?
Because like China's pretty hard on drugs.
Yeah.
And China's like, yo, we don't give a fuck if you guys are Canadian, you guys are Chinese. That's kind of how it works. They don't recognize dual citizenship,
Yeah.
so they treat them like Chinese. And
Yeah, that's one thing. Like for me personally, I'm kind of scared to go to China. Like
Yeah.
before, I wanted to. Like now, it's like just knowing how I talk and the way that I think. It's like I just don't like my odds there. I don't know. Like I could just see myself casually just making a joke about the Chinese government and just kind of getting politely removed.
I'm trying to go back to Vietnam, so I don't want to like go delve too deep into this topic. But you know, there's things that I'm scared to say. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, yeah.
That's fair. I definitely want to spend a lot of time in Asia. I just worry specifically about that one country. You know, have you been to Japan?
I don't think it's the only country that has that problem. But
No. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Have you been to Japan?
No, I haven't. I saw the question though. That's
Yeah. Well, so I've been seeing more stuff about how Japan apparently is very repressive and loveless, and I don't know, like, kind of what's your take on like, obviously it's completely different from Vietnamese culture, but like if you know any people from Vietnam that have been to Japan or had weird experiences or whatever, like.
It's like, you know, like, yes, they're different countries, but there's still some kind of similarness from being somewhat in the same area and just like sharing, you know, some kind of like, I don't know how to say it. But you know how Western culture and European culture is a thing, even though there's different countries. So there's like an Asian culture, right?
Eastern culture.
Yeah, Eastern Asian culture and whatever. So like I could see where that comes from, and like, you know, the whole thing is that Japanese people are elitist, right? A little bit. That's the stereotype or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the criticism. I could see it, bro. Their shit is so cool. I'd be elitist too. You know what I'm saying? Did you watch Shogun? Have you ever watched that shit?
I haven't watched, or I've watched like anime. I haven't watched Shogun.
Shogun is like kind of like a feudal Japan like drama piece about like this dude becoming shogun, and it just shows like, yo, they're like obviously it's just a TV show, but like it shows the calculation and the stoicism that had to come into becoming a Japanese leader. Like, you know, they had to hide their emotions a lot. And that's part of the culture. They don't just, you know, how Americans just kind of jump in and be like, yo, I'm right, shut the fuck up. Like in Japan, you don't do that. You know, you have to plan it out and think about your moves like 10 steps ahead type shit. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think too that like I know that they're really against PDA. That's like a big thing. Like, yeah, if you just like you're hanging out, you just like kiss your wife or something in public, that's like you'll get called out for that.
Is that their perspective? Is that their perspective on their own, or do they see like just like
Foreigners.
foreign? Oh, they don't. They hate
They
it.
will
No.
call you out
Oh
on the
shit.
spot and be like, "Yo,
Okay.
do that shit here."
While we're on this topic, what about Mormons? Have you been following all the Mormon content? There's a lot of Mormon content.
I've seen some like I watched Churdley stuff.
Okay. Do you know what soaking is?
Soaking?
Yeah.
No.
All right, so this is apparently something that goes around BYU, which is like the big Mormon university in Utah. But because you're not allowed to have sex until you get married, kids are trying to find a loophole. Basically, what they do is they get the girl wet, and she just sits there like kind of like, you know, whatever, and the guy just puts his junk in there and just lets it soak. And then
No, that's it.
that's it. But if they want to go fully into it, they get a third homie in there, and it's called bed shaking. Mando, is that what it's called? Is it called bed shaking? What's the other one called? Shaking? I forgot.
So you have a third person that shakes the bed.
That shakes the bed, yeah.
So that you can fuck.
Yeah.
Because
But you can't, but you're not fucking, you know, you're soaking and you're shaking. Yep.
That sounds awful.
It does.
Yeah, that sounds really terrible.
Like, so many
I can't
steps, man,
imagine.
just to like, I
Yeah.
don't know. That's crazy.
I don't know.
That's
Like, yeah,
hilarious,
it's sad to me that that's like someone's introduction to sex. That doesn't sound like a great time.
And on the topic of PDA, another thing that they do in Utah, apparently, I'm just like my information's from memes. So people spotlight. So they would like drive if you see people PDAing. Like say you go to a place where people often make out and stuff in the car. You go behind their car and you start flashing your lights at them to stop them from making out.
That's insane. You just like everyone's just a narc basically.
Yeah, everyone's a narc. Sex is really bad, you know.
Sex is really bad.
Coffee's really bad for Mormons too.
Really, coffee?
They can't.
What about smoking and drugs and stuff? I'm assuming it's everything. Whatever, like anything that people like is just banned.
There's this
in Mormon
other
culture.
TikTok that I saw, and it was like, would you rather drink a sip of coffee or go to war? And like all the kids were like, I think I'd go to war. you know, because it's against my morals. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, that's all good.
I think that's a reasonable take.
Yeah.
I'd honestly rather go to war too, because I don't really enjoy the crash of caffeine. And here, think about this too.
Yeah.
If you're in war, you might get to kill someone for free.
That's fire.
You get to kill someone for free, so then you get some street credibility. You get more efficient with weapons,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know, and a little bit of PTSD. So now, if you have an episode, you're not just like a bitch. Like you actually have a reason to be. Yeah,
Nice.
it's kind of a nice way to get out of a lot of stuff. Just be like, actually, you know what? No, like I don't want to go to the bank today because I spent the whole morning screaming and crying about stuff that happened to me in a terrible country.
Yeah. I agree. That's truer words have never been said.
I appreciate that. That's the goal of this broadcast. So what's your creative process like now that we've covered some foreign policy stuff?
Creative process. I mean, like, I like to be consistent, you know, so like I try to go to the studio often, and like sometimes things don't come, but like, you know, you build a routine. I like top lining first. For people who don't know, top lining is when you like, you know, record the melody without the words, you just sing nonsense. And then I add the words, you know. I make beats too, so I kind of do stuff hand in hand. I really, really like to hop on just chords or just loops because I feel like all the drums kind of lead you in a certain way. Whereas as a producer, my mindset is to build the drums around what you sing. Yeah. To kind of tell the story and whatever. So I guess, you know, pretty normal stuff. How about you, man?
Yeah. What so do you do you just punch in usually when you're recording, or like you write, or like kind of what does that look like on the actual like the lyric side of things?
I'm more of a writer.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. I like to dig deep into and build a world, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes punching in is a great way for certain people because they just have that ability to do that like on the fly. I guess I haven't really gotten that. I can punch in, but I feel as though when I punch in is just saying nonsense, you know?
Fair. I find it takes a while. Like most of my music is punched in. And I'm able to tell stories that way and like to really kind of delve deep on like a topic. But I find when I'm working that way, it's a little similar. Like now I'm allowing myself to write. For years I didn't allow myself. Now I'm kind of challenging myself, even if like I'm not going to use the lyrics, but just sort of for fun. Like now my phone's full of like additional shit that I might use, might not. But what kind of got me back into actually writing is just doing more like long form freestyling.
Yeah.
So I've just been like back grinding, just doing that. So that's what I'll be doing today. I'm trying to, hopefully, like, fingers crossed, trying to get some like 15-minute ones or some shit. 10-15 minutes, and like being real. Last week, we're probably not going to use these clips or whatever. We did like 15 minutes like side by side or whatever. So I'm trying to have I feel like that's kind of a good way for me to separate myself right now, because like no one's really doing that, but we'll see.
Like, do you like? You know, I feel as though like the best case scenario of this is like eventually you'll do like a 15 minutes of pure fire, and then like that would be just a track that no one else can like replicate type shit, you know? Sometimes you hear those freestyles that are just so crazy that you're like, damn, I can't believe this is a freestyle. It's a whole 15 minutes. That's hard. Respects. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm trying to get to the point where I can just do like hours and hours. Like back in high school, for sure, that's kind of what it was. We just sit around, smoke, and then just black out, but shit was never filmed. So like, you know, lost takes or whatever. Are we all doomed?
Yeah. Yeah. So many, like, we got the U.S., you know, starting a war with every possible country. We got our AI overlords, you know, taking over. I've been saying this like way before AI was big, because my background is computer science for university. So like, yeah, AI is taking over. We're doomed. We're fucked. Yeah, I don't know what else. That's enough reasons.
Yeah, that's good. Makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah, knowing that. Well, just like confirmation that I'm not just crazy.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, that's good.
Like, do you think we'll see the end of the world? You know what I'm saying? Because like,
our generation?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Nah, not yet.
I think that's gonna be our kids' problem.
RP.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, I don't know. At this point in my life, I'm just hoping I have kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to have like a like pretty old school in that sense. Like, yeah, I want to have like, you know, just basic shit. Just do what I like. You know, have a family, kids, house. Nothing special. I'm really not materialistic at all. Like, I don't care if I don't need to be fucking loaded. Just like being able to just you know, provide for the people around me. That's pretty much it. So.
That's
How about you?
Same. Like, you know, like I came from a somewhat like academic family, so like I'm kind of like the deadbeat, you know, because I do music and shit.
Yeah.
So like I would like to, you know, be like successful enough that I can provide for like, you know, a happy like, you know, family and shit. That'd be nice.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of back on the fence if I might go back. Like for a while I was like super like, yeah, fuck, I'm not going to go back. Now I'm kind of on the fence again about doing a master's just because of like I'm sort of worried about I really want to move to the States and move to Florida, but now with all this new stuff, I'm like, fuck, like if I buy a property, get the visa, it's like, what if they take off the visa? What if I can't, you know, I can't just fucking get in and out? I don't know. So kind of evaluating that. But like you do have like a lot of PhDs in your family, or like what are you comparing yourself to?
Like I don't like talking about my family too much, but like, you know, like the typical like Asian family, like, you know, the dream, like I feel as though
Right.
my siblings are kind of that, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's all right. Who are you voting for this year?
When's the election? I'd like, did they do a vote of no confidence yet? Did that happen yet?
It's April.
Yeah. See, I didn't even know, but I guess there's like liberal NDP, and then there's conservative, and then there's what else? Is there other
I
stuff?
mean, the Greens are like barely a party.
Yeah.
I guess you got the Bloc.
I mean,
and a couple other extremist parties.
I fuck with NDP. I fuck with Jackmeet Singh. Like he's Asian too, so shout out. Not a great reason to vote for somebody, but like hey, I had to throw that in there. But at the same time, like I don't know if he realistically could achieve on the things that he's trying to sell push. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna like, you know, I lean politically left-ish. So not the conservatives, but
Yeah.
between the liberals and the NDP, I'm not sure.
Fair.
You?
I'm definitely voting blue this year. Yeah. I never like thought I would vote like provincially I voted blue this year, first time as well. Always historically voted either NDP or liberal, but just super dissatisfied with kind of how like things have gone. With not just like the liberals, like obviously you can't just blame everything on JT.
Yeah.
But this whole like woke culture and stuff like that, it's kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. And that's not to say that I'm optimistic about the right by any means. Like I wouldn't describe myself as a conservative or a liberal. I'm just kind of centralist. So I find with any party, I've yet to like meet any like politicians that I feel like accurately represent how I feel. But I don't know. We'll just see what happens.
So if you were to like start your own party and like accurately represent how you feel, where's some like campaigning points for you?
Campaigning points. So I feel like the whole concept of affordable housing is just a big buzzword. They just kind of throw that shit around and it's all bullshit. That would be something that I would really like try to make realistic.
Yeah.
Strong economy is really important to me. Strong family values. Going back to the two gender thing.
Okay.
Removing all these like whatever gender laws, whatever. Like and like I don't know, like I'm somewhat progressive in a sense where like I don't really give a fuck. Like hey, whatever, if you wanna dress up however, I don't give a fuck. Doesn't affect my life. But the whole like sort of policing of it and identity politics I have a big problem with, so I say we remove all that shit.
Okay.
Other stuff that's important, we like strong foreign policy. Close, like much better relationship with America. I feel like our relationship is strained, and now I wouldn't say that that's our fault right now. I say that that's the U.S. because Canada doesn't want that. But my priority would be like really strong North America. As much removal as possible from like any UK or British influence. I feel like that. Like I hate the monarchy. Like I think they're like super bullshit. Definitely some like green policies now, like smarter policies, because like I feel like carbon tax is like complete bullshit. So instead of carbon taxes and all these like and the push of EVs, like don't get me wrong, I have an EV. I didn't get that for environmental reasons. Like the whole push of solar also fucking retarded too. I'd say we focus on the oceans. You know, like because that's 90% of the world. You clean up the oceans, boom. Actual positive changes with the indigenous communities. We've like completely deserted them, and then like to this day, like both the like I mean the right is just more fucked up because they're just like fuck them. They don't even remotely care. But then the left is also a big part of the problem too because they're just like a photo op.
Yeah.
And they just throw money at chiefs without like proper audits and stuff like that. And unfortunately, and I can say this because I do have like a lot of friends in the like native communities, like it does not get handled well. Like there's so many reserves that don't have clean water. That's insane in like an allegedly first world country. I would really cut down immigration. I know that like some people will say, oh, that whatever, that sounds right. I'm not racist at all, but it's like we've just got to look after our own, you know? Like Canadians don't really have a shot right now.
Sorry, this is kind of stupid, but like you should like you put the Canadian like anthem or music in the background and like put a flag like slowly like appearing and stuff, while you're talking.
I could never fucking.
So funny though.
The real answer is like I could just never be a politician though, because I feel like to actually be a politician you have to be really comfortable with just lying to people and manipulating everybody around you. You know, but it is a good job. Don't get me wrong. Like, you know, if you're an MP, you make, I think it's like 250 or so grand a year without taxes. And if you do that for 6 years, then you get 85K a year automatically for the rest of your life. You know, so it's like, if you can just keep the scam going, especially in like smaller towns, like you don't have to do anything.
But I kind of get it too, though. Like, there's just some jobs where, like, when leadership is involved, it's impossible to just be transparent all the time because there's some things that people wouldn't understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they don't have the full picture that you have to be in charge of. So I don't envy their position. You know, it's annoying. It's tough. Yeah.
I feel that. Yeah, I agree too. I always like to like that's why I find it funny how like the internet and a lot of different, and I wouldn't just say the left does this, the right does this as well, and like lots of random stands and whatever. We get into habits of like demonizing people and we forget that like, yo, these are just people. Like they all have like their problems, they have their lives, they have their families. And the thing is too, it's like a lot of these systems are just, like the bureaucracy and everything is so screwed up that assuming that like you actually come in with good intentions and you genuinely want to do changes, it's like you probably won't be able to.
It's solving a problem that's like think about how many people added to that bureaucracy, you know? Like you're one person. How are you going to dismantle the whole bureaucracy? You kind of can't, you know? They have systems in place so that if you want to change something, they're going to stop you, you know what I'm saying?
And I feel like with that too, it's because it's also like there's jobs just to like it's someone's job just to keep the bureaucracy going and to make sure, oh, okay, cool, like we like because generally conservative parties want to strip down governments and like liberal parties want to do the opposite. They want to get more positions. So it's like
I don't think that's a party related thing though. Like
no,
I think it's
I wouldn't say it's like party. I'd say
that's specifically like, Donald Trump maybe, but even then Donald Trump is lying.
So.
Like Donald Trump is like kind of lying about that stuff too because he's stripping down a lot of like things in the government, but he's adding random ass positions that he you know. So like I don't think that's like a party related thing. Whether the bureaucracy is on both sides, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't necessarily call it like party. I mean more like ideological, like libertarians generally like want like a smaller government. No, I wouldn't call like Trump like a libertarian. Nor do I think that like Polyev is definitely not a libertarian. You know, what's kind of your take on what I think is so funny though is like when some of the politicians just have takes that just like no one just no one has, like they're like so out of touch, like the whole like the abortion issue is like not really a left or right thing, like it's just like insane.
Like what do you mean? Like the
removal of abortion.
But you'd be surprised, bro. A lot of like conservative Christians are like really for it. Like they're passionate about it. They really don't want, you know, like.
But I feel like that's more about Christianity than it is being a conservative.
Yeah, but I think conservatives, like, I don't know, I can't speak for everybody, but like I feel as though the relationship there is that conservatives like to go back in time a little bit, like they're a little bit old school, and then Christianity was more involved in those olden times, so that probably is why their views are kind of like that. But I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying, I'm not a spokesperson of any sort, so I'm not gonna be dying on this hill.
I'll die on the hill. I think that what's so funny though, it's like, guys, like really, like it's funny when like men want it removed though, because it's like, boys, like why do you want the get out of jail free card? Like what, you just want to have every kid? Like what the fuck?
I don't know, man.
Who's got the budget for that? Like
And
for
it's always crazy when people advocate for. This is crazy to me. Like when you advocate against like the right to like abortion and whatever, but you've gotten abortions.
yeah.
Like that's a lot of politicians. It's just like
Most.
what's going on?
Yeah. Well, I think that that's just like the classic. I mean, like same with like a lot of the dudes that want to like remove like gay rights, but then are like fucking dudes in their office. It's like, guys, come on, you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty funny. Top artist you're fucking with right now in any genre, any whatever.
I'm gonna say Chappell Roan because she's dope, but her last track I thought was I'm getting more into country, but it just wasn't as good as her like her streak before that. But Chappell Roan was going like crazy before. In any genre, I don't know what I listen to. Like I have to like pull out my Spotify. Oh, but you have my phone. Shit.
My memory's so bad.
Yeah, right. Like I just listen to shit, but like I was at my brother's and like I used to play saxophone, like jazz saxophone, and like I saw some of his vinyls because he had like this room where he has a vinyl player and a bunch of vinyls, and like I just like got back into touch with that side, like Miles Davis. Yeah, Miles Davis like kind of blew. He had that vinyl, but like Miles Davis whole like discography is crazy. And I guess I must just shout out while I'm on jazz, Fela Kuti. Fela Kuti kind of is like Afrobeats jazz.
I don't know if
Yeah, but he's crazy. Like he's like kind of like, yeah, he's like one of the most influential, like. I want to say African artist, but I'm actually not sure. But I know he has a lot to do with like the origins of like Afrobeats. Don't quote me on that. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, but his music's cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, pretty much all I'm listening to right now is just like the Caillou theme song.
Okay.
That's all I've been running lately. It's hard as fuck, bro. I just like listen to like different like remixes of that or like AI.
Are you serious?
With Caillou?
I can't tell. Like
I'm dead serious, bro.
LeBron James music.
Yeah. Let's talk about LeBron. So, yeah, you were just explaining to me earlier before we started filming that. LeBron's super popping right now. Not that he always isn't popping, but the memes are just going crazy about lots of good LeBron PR.
Yeah. Let me just show you some random shit.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Well, first off, like I was talking about, like, because you were talking about Caillou theme, like people are making a LeBron genre of music where people just remix old songs with LeBron lyrics.
Yeah, that's
fantastic. So let me just show you some shit. But there's this one meme video that my girlfriend posted and it was going viral, but then someone reported it, so it got like shadow banned, so it's not on the For You page anymore. It had like 140K views, but this is the type of memes that people make about LeBron. That's me. Not my best.
It's so smart. They put the hands there in the
You should like show on the screen what the video is.
Yeah, send me that. I'll put it up. That's so funny.
Yeah, but people just glaze LeBron and like it's like not homosexual if you talk sexually about LeBron James because it's LeBron James. That's basically the meme. People say crazy shit about him. Yeah.
That's funny, bro.
Yeah, indeed.
That just reminded me too what we were talking about earlier, and like I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard an alleged rumor from someone out there in Akron that says that they I don't know if they're just hating on LeBron or what's going on, but they were saying that people don't actually fuck with LeBron, and he's like not a chill guy. So it's very amusing to me to see how much love LeBron gets.
Quick question: was the person white or black?
One of them was white and one of them was black.
Damn.
So like pretty good mix. Yeah, of different reactions. I don't think he was just racist. He definitely didn't seem like a racist guy. How would you describe like your sound?
I mean, we were talking about it earlier, but I just do whatever the fuck I want, Like, I listen to a lot of music, so my music is a mixture of a lot of genres. I'm really, like, I don't, like, I hate this word, but, like, I'm an intellectual. Like, I went to school and shit. I love academia, so, like, there's, like, a side of it that's, like, I think about the music. I also grew up reading, like, music blogs and shit, so, like, I like to mix things together and create cool combinations and think of like how I write my lyrics in that sense. So I guess that's what it is for now. But eventually, like, I'll just make the music and people can describe it whatever way they want to.
For sure. That's good, man. I like that you're just having fun and trying lots of different things too. I like that about your music. And your content too, There's a lot of variety with that, which is cool. What's the worst thing about white people?
Okay. It's when they open up Asian restaurants that suck. They swear it's the best, and then all the white people eat there. That's literally the worst. I hate that shit. There's
The
spice
spice?
in it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's lack of
Intolerance to
spice.
intolerance
Yeah.
to spice. Now, can we name some of the restaurants or no?
No.
No.
We can't.
This isn't just Montreal specific,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
it?
exactly. So I saw this, like, this is like typical like white audacity, but like in the UK, they opened a chain called Pho, which is like Vietnamese noodle soup. They don't make it properly, and they tried to copyright the word pho, which is crazy, which means soup in Vietnamese. That's crazy. I don't know what to say to that. And people love it. Like white people love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Wow, that's embarrassing. What else do we do that's just like really awful? Like I could talk about this shit all day. I find it really funny.
Let me think about it. Because I'm thinking about silly stuff, but when you talk about the big stuff, I mean, like colonialism was pretty awful.
yeah,
You know, like
well-
white supremacy sucks too. You know.
Let me say one thing about colonialism. And this is not me defending colonialism. That's crazy. No, but the one thing I do laugh about though is that, like for example, like JPEG Mafia,
Yeah.
like he doesn't like white people,
Okay.
which is very funny when he goes on rants about them because like that's his entire fan base. Let's be honest, right? So, which is fine, but it's just funny. But now the thing about like now white people, we've done a lot of awful shit.
Yeah.
But what I always find funny that like people like to leave out when they're being critical about just colonialism and stuff and racism and all these awful things is that like every country does this. Now I'm not saying that we're like England in particular isn't awful and like Canada hasn't been awful in the United States and whatever, but it's like look at China. If you look at like China and Japan
Yeah.
on both sides,
Yeah.
China to just China,
Yeah.
Russia to just Russia,
Yeah.
Russia to everywhere else,
Yeah.
the Mongolians to that entire region. Like it's Africa to like all these different nations. You know, it's not a unique racial thing. I don't think.
Yeah, I think like generally I'd agree with that, but even though they would do the same, they didn't. And I think that's part of the I get that that's kind of like, you know, that's kind of like, I don't know, like something to wrap your head around, but like that does matter too. Like who did what, you know? And that has an effect on society. But like this, like, you know, while we're on like, you know, I don't know, hot takes or whatever, like when I was in stage up, I'm like, I would say I'm a feminist, you know what I'm saying? But ultimately, if women were stronger and had the power advantage or like whatever over men, wouldn't they do the same thing? Like, you know, be shitty to men, right? That's kind of like how it is. It's like dog eat dog. So like the mentality is understandable, but it's still a problem.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's a part of like human nature because like we're all like animals and we're tribal creatures
Yeah.
and like we naturally like want to dominate resources.
Yeah.
And usually the way that we're going to go about that is going to be like awful.
Yeah.
So there's like I just feel like we all have so much bloodshed
Yeah.
that it's funny to me like that's why I think like I'll make racist jokes all day, but I think that actual racism
Yeah.
is like really like absurd because it's like we're all fucked.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, but it's an interesting one. Yeah, we already talked about Japan. What else do you kind of want to break down or like give some nice takes on, or anything that you feel like that we missed?
I think we talked about a lot of stuff. You have a lot of content. Like
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I don't know, unless
Anything
you
you want to like
Plug?
definitely plug your music and like whatever else we can expect this year and what you got going on.
I'm trying to do a lot of music this year. I think I had one goal this year is like I'm gonna try to get canceled. Either I go big or I get canceled. You know what I'm saying? Like be honest, be real. Cause like what I'm saying isn't that crazy, but like this is something I realized doing a little bit more podcasts and stuff like that. Sometimes I say something silly and people are going crazy on me in the comments, and I'm like, yo, if I'm gonna get canceled, might as well like, you know, do it intentionally and get big in the process, you know. But I think I could defend myself pretty well because most of my stuff isn't that crazy, I think.
No, I feel like I mean even if you do like, isn't cancel culture kind of like over now? I thought that like we kind of
Right?
beat it at this
Like,
point.
I don't think you can get canceled, but it's just more the idea that people are gonna try, you know, and like go ahead, try, you know, like I might as well like, you know, have that discussion. It's better than just being unnoticed, you know. A lot of people are too afraid. I think I was like that. I was afraid of like being wrong, but who's wrong, who's right, who gives a fuck? You know, we care how much money people make and how big they are, you know, that matters more.
Yeah.
So
Currency.
yeah, I forgot to answer your question, but yeah, I'm gonna try to do some more shit like this. You know, just try to be out there more. I'm gonna drop a lot of mad music. At the end of the year, I'm gonna do a cool little project. You know, I might, you know, yeah, I don't know how much I want to talk about it, but like, I'm gonna stream and do a lot of cool stuff, and people can see it and follow it on social media. And yeah, my Instagram's Ben Me Cowboy. My artist name's Chuong. I make cool music.
Oh yeah. And now since you open up that door,
Yeah.
now I have to push it.
Okay.
So I want to hear like some of your craziest takes. I want to hear something like what's a controversial take that you have?
We said pretty controversial takes already, right?
Yeah, but that's just let's
Okay.
hear some stuff.
Well, we'll say some shit, but some stuff you might have to cut out. Okay.
While we're on that topic, like kind of what's your take with like the OnlyFans stuff? Do you think that it's like been worse for society or better?
That's a tricky one. I don't know. Like, I totally am supportive of the rights for women to like take ownership of their life, and to make money off of things. But I do think that pornography is bad for the like in general, like especially overexposure to it. The same way that social media, it shouldn't be illegal, but it's bad for you.
Right.
For sure. And that's kind of how I'm trying to navigate it, because it's like freedom of choice and freedom of like access to everything versus, like our brains being completely fucked.
Yeah.
So I don't know, to be honest. How about you, man?
Do you think that like there should be limits set on like how much pornography is like exposed per person, like weekly?
Is the challenge.
Like, do you like lock your like computer or something? Like, what's kind of the damage you see from that?
I think it's pretty bad. I think there should be some kind of like, I don't think that there should be a limit. I think the limit should be self-imposed. People should aim for better things, and maybe like if our economy was better or something like that, like maybe this is just a symptom of something deeper, like a bad economy. But I don't know. Because it's the same, like, right? If you took away people's like right to drink or do drugs, that's kind of infringing on their, freedom and stuff. So it's kind of like similar here. Like, it's America, it's Canada. We should be allowed to do whatever. But at the same time, not everything's good for us. Not because we can do it, we should do it.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I find that like my porn usage just goes up when I'm just like annoyed with dates, or just things are just like, I don't know, just like whatever. I'm like, fuck, I just don't want to deal with these people or whatever. Then it's like the porn usage goes up, and it's like I usually feel shittier. Like it's definitely not like when I'm happiest, I'm watching it like as little as possible or not,
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let's do like one or two more and then we'll wrap up. Do you think that there's any value in news anymore? Or should we I think most of young people have kind of given up on news, but yeah, what do you think about that?
I assume you're talking about mainstream news, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, like, it's tricky because, like, I was going to say, like, find the channel that speaks to you, but then you're just going to hear an echo chamber, right? But I respect, like, well-documented journalism with, like, citations and whatever. Like, I feel as though, like, Canada, not that bad. Like, CBC is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, it actually does its research. It provides the research. It always shows both sides, but yeah, sure, like, everyone's biased, but at least they try to show both sides,
Right.
And I think I appreciate that about CBC, because if you compare it to, like, the US, like, it's more like they make the channel to be popular within their circle. They don't even care about how accurate or, what the implications is for society. They're more caring about the profit and the popularity of their channel. So shouts out to that. I used to really like Vice random, but like then they got bought out by Fox and that sucked, and they moved out of Montreal. Yeah. What's your take?
I think that I don't know. I'm not a big fan of news anymore. I did study journalism. I'll read articles. I don't know. I have a hard time like everything. It feels like has become more extreme.
Yeah.
I have a hard time finding anything like with like kind of a central take, and it's like kind of what you said that most things seem to sort of be an echo chamber. So that's also kind of just motivated me to get dumber. Like I'd rather listen to like I'll do some research on like, different. I'll look at all kinds of different sources of media or whatever. But generally speaking, I'd rather just watch some stupid stuff on social media or listen to like a podcast or react to it because it's like more entertaining for me.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's tough, man. Like, yeah.
Nice. I feel that. All right, last but not least, do you think that like women should still be voting, or like is that dangerous? Like, do you think that like that could like be dangerous for like the free world?
What's a woman?
What's a woman? Like the other ones, like the stuff that created us.
Aliens?
I guess like yeah, they are part alien. I don't know. I think aren't we all sort of descendants of aliens, like the Sumerians and stuff?
I think as long as they look like that lady from Avatar, they're good to vote.
The Avatar one.
Yeah.
What?
No?
I guess I don't know. I wasn't like nuts about. I didn't find the Avatars very hot. I don't know. Wasn't a huge.
You're missing out, man.
Yeah.
Go on, go on Cornhub and check it out. Now.
What's? Oh, Pornhub.
Yeah.
Why do people censor Pornhub when they call it like? What's up with that?
I guess like
Where that start?
The algorithm or something. You know, like some words, or like for flagging, like some words you should like not say it, or you should like type it a different way so that people don't flag you.
Right. But don't like, if you get flagged, doesn't that mean that you're like supporting more nations?
True. I support the Vietnamese government.
Yeah. I also support the Vietnamese government. What's like? Do they say like thank you? Like how do you how are you supposed to react to like the government? Do you say like thank you Vietnam, or like what's like the code? Like like how do I address like Vietnam?
That sounds pretty good. I think that sounds.
Thank you Vietnam.
Yeah.
Thank you Vietnam. Yeah. Shouts out.
Shouts out.
All right. Good interview.
Yes.
Peace.